Alright, what's good, you guys? Welcome back. This glare right here? Is that a glare or what? Anyways, welcome back to my channel. It's Brittany and I'm back with another video. So today's video is going to be a little different for my channel because I've never done a video like this before, but I don't know, it's like it's a big part of my life, and I'm just trying to bring that onto my platform as well. Anyways, so this video is about how I manifested my dream car. Now I say dream car in quotes because this is not exactly my dream car, but this is the car that I wanted. I wanted one of 3 cars, and I got the one that I pretty much wanted the most, if that makes sense. Okay, so a little backstory first before I tell you guys exactly how I got this car. I'm going to tell you how I got to the point of me getting this car. Okay, so I had a Dodge Avenger for the past like 3 years. I'm gonna say 3 years, and that was my baby. Like, it was black, it had like these little rims on them, like these little low profile tires with some little rims and stuff like that. It was cute. Like, it was a really cute car for me at the time, but I just had a lot of maintenance issues on top of me already paying almost $600 a month for my car payment. My car payment on that car, it was a 2013, and I got it in 2015, but my car payment was $545 every month. That's not including insurance. My insurance for full coverage was two something. So I was paying a lot of money for that car, and then I always had to like repair something. Like, I needed a new alternator at one point, I needed a new battery, and then the battery was already like $100. But I had to, like, it's not your average battery though, like, it's not under the hood, it's underneath the fender. So you have to like go to a tire shop or like a mechanic shop, on top of paying for the freaking battery. Like, my dad, he could have, you know, changed the battery on a regular car, but he didn't know where my battery was. So come to find out, it's underneath the freaking, like, underneath the fender, and like you have to take the tire off and it's up there. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So that was another $70, and it was just always something. Like, the window switches went out, that was $100. What else did I need? Like, I just constantly needed something for that car, and I was just like, you know what? So one day I was, oh, and then it started like overheating. So I was having like these problems with the overheating, and that was just driving me crazy because oh, and then at one point the AC freaking, not the AC, the heat wasn't working. So I was like, okay, it was in the middle of the winter and my heat went out. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is so much. So I just had problem after problem after problem with that car, and it was just really becoming like very stressful. So one day I was not even feeling good on that day. I remember that day I wasn't even feeling good anyway, and I was driving on the highway. I forgot where I was going, but my car just made this loud noise, and I was like, whoa. And I always ride with my music kind of loud, so I was like, okay, am I tripping, or did I really hear something? So I was like, let me pull over and see what the heck's going on. So I pulled over, and right in the middle of the intersection, as I pulled over, my car just completely stopped on me. So I'm like, great. So I'm sitting in the middle of the intersection, and so finally some guy offers to push my car. He pushed my car. Well, it ended up being 3 guys. They ended up pushing my car, and they pushed it to this gas station, and I was stranded there. So I had to call a mobile mechanic. The guy came out. He charged me $50 an hour. 5 hours later, he tells me, 5 hours and 2 parts later, he tells me that he thinks that my motor is gone. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? So I paid him and I'm out of all this money and I still don't have a car. So I'm like, you know what, I give up. I'm not paying for a motor for this car. Like, that's ridiculous, you know. And then the car lot, they weren't gonna do anything about it. So I was like, okay, I gotta do something. So I started to like Lyft and Uber. I started to use Lyft and Uber to get to work and to get to my baby's daycare and get to all the places that I needed to go. So that was becoming really, really, really freaking expensive. I was spending $85 a day on Lyft, and that was me trying not to go as many places as I really needed to go. So it just taught me so much that I really like to just really cherish your car, no matter what kind of car it is, cherish it. So I was like stressing out because I was paying so much in like Lyft and stuff. I was paying so much to Lyft and Uber. So I was at my dad's house one day. I had just left work, and I had to go to work every freaking day just to pay for, you know, just to have enough money to pay for this shit. So I was going to work every day, and so I went to my dad. Like, I would get dropped off at my dad's house. So I was at his house one day, and he was like, hey, the guy down the street is selling he has a car for sale. And I was like, really? And he's like, okay, it's not like, don't expect, you know, some nice car. Like, don't expect that. It's a car, it runs, and he said that you can get it for $300. So I was like, let me go see. So I went to look at it, and I was like, I don't know, because I would rather, I don't know. But then I was like, I gotta think about it, because like, just off of physical appearance, it's gonna be very hard. But I was like, but I need to get past that because I need a freaking car. So I was like, let me think about it. And then plus I was like, let me, you know, I don't know if this is even worth it. Like, I gotta think about it. Like, I actually have to think about, you know, things. Like, I do a lot of things impulsively. So I was like, let me think about it before I just hand over $300. So I had to call like a friend and stuff and ask the friend, like, what should I do? What would you do? Da, 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 da. I couldn't get anybody to freaking help me. So my cousin, he was like, I would do it. He was like, because at least you'll have wheels. You know, you need wheels at the moment. You need to be mobile. I would do it. And he was like, it'll only be for a little bit anyway, because you're gonna get a new car, right? And I was like, right. So I ended up buying the car, and I'm gonna insert a picture of the car. But it was a 04 Chevy Impala. The inside was like stripped. Like, it didn't have a radio. The seats, like, it had leather seats, but the seats were all like cut up. I don't know what the heck was going on. The seats were all cut up. Nothing on the dashboard worked. Like the gas, the little gas thing, I never knew how much gas I had. I would just have to like wait until the gas light came on to let me know, because the lights would work, like the lights that tell you that something's wrong or whatever, those lights work. But that's because it was like digital. But as far as like the speedometer didn't work. I didn't even know how fast I was going. Like, I just kind of had to feel it. Nothing worked, you guys. Like, it was crazy, and it was definitely like a few steps down for me. And it was just like, I gotta, like, it just motivated me so much to get another car. I was like, I have to get another car. I cannot drive this. Like, I cannot drive this. And it just really bothered me to drive it, because, like, I don't know. But anyways, what else? Oh, not to mention that, so the rubber part around the windows, like the ceiling, I guess, around the windows, was missing on the outside of the car. So every time it would rain, like, we would literally get wet on the inside. So it was just a lot wrong with that car, and it just really, like, I did not like driving it. But at first, like, I kind of was being vain about it, and I was like, you know what, this car just, oh, I don't like this car. Like, oh my gosh, like, I do not like this car. But I just came to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm grateful. It's a car. I have a car. when I didn't have a car, I was complaining. So now that I have a car, I need to be grateful. So I started like really, really, really trying to be grateful for that car. And I did. I prayed to God. I told God I was grateful for the car. You know, I tried to as often as I could. You know, I wouldn't say it was every day, but every time that I was, you know, like every time that I would meditate and stuff, I would show gratitude towards my car. And, you know, because I knew that there was something greater coming out of that, you know, like that's when I first really started like manifesting, because at the time I was already manifesting, working on manifesting an apartment and a car. And I was just kind of like, okay, which one do I focus on first? But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pray to God and just let the universe work its magic. So the things that I did was I got together a YouTube playlist, and I put a bunch of not random, but a bunch of subliminals in there that I liked. A bunch of subliminals on my, you know, me getting an apartment, me getting my dream car, things like that. Also, I would listen to that every day. I would try to listen to that every day. In the car, before I go to sleep, in the mornings, like I would just try to listen to it as much as I could. While I was meditating, you know, stuff like that. I also, in my phone, I got a picture of the cars that I wanted. I had a picture of a white Camaro, and I had a picture of a white BMW, and I had a picture of a white Range Rover. All the cars that I thought I wanted were white. So, what else did I do after that? So I would just like, I started scripting too. I had a journal. Where's my notebook? Okay, so here's my little notebook right here, one of my notebooks. And I started like journaling or scripting like what my dream life consisted of. So if I can find one, I'll kind of pretty much read it to you. But I remember one of them, like I was like, okay, let me put one, let me make one okay, because I wrote 3 different like scripts, and one was for my Range Rover and one was for my Camaro, and then I know one was for my BMW. I gotta find it because I know I put one. I made one that said, you know, that I was living in my dream apartment and I had my dream car, which is the BMW. That one says Range Rover. I literally just wrote down what my dream life consisted of. Like I literally wrote down, you know, basically from start to finish what a day in my dream life consisted of and how grateful I was and blah blah blah. So I did that, and I literally just made myself believe and convinced myself that I was worthy of driving a nice car, that I was worthy of just living my dream life. So after I did that, I like the universe literally started just working its magic. And that's what happens. Like the universe will literally make a way for everything to pretty much fall into place. And that's what happened. So I drove the Impala for like 2 months, which was longer than I intended on having it for. But I drove it for 2 months. My makeup looks weird right there. I'm just not noticing that. So I drove my Impala for like 2 months or whatever, and it finally broke down on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this car finally freaking broke down on me. It literally broke down. I tried to get it fixed and I could not get it fixed. So I was like, okay, you know what, that must be a sign that I need to start working on getting another car. So I started using Lyft and Uber again and spending more money. But I wasn't like, it wasn't a problem. Like I wasn't tripping, you know. Like I had faith, you know, I had confidence that everything was going to work itself out, and I made sure that I expressed gratitude towards the fact that I knew everything was going to work itself out. So what happened was, literally, I made more money in 2 days than I ever made in my life. Well, like that I had made in a long time. Like I literally made $3,000 in 2 days. And I took that money and I went and I purchased my car. So yeah, I was so shocked because the universe literally made people give me money. Like I literally was given $3,000 in 2 days, and it was so crazy and so miraculous. And that was another thing that I scripted, was that or that I scripted and I affirmed verbally that I was gonna get the car that I deserved. I deserved to get the car that I wanted, and that it was going to come to me in the most miraculous and easiest way possible. And that's how I try to put that on. I try to put that on all of my all of the things that I'm trying to manifest. Like I try to affirm that they're going to come to me in an easy, effortless, safe way. And that's literally what happened. Like I was literally given $3,000 in 2 days by 3 different people. So yeah, and I could not, I couldn't believe it. And I knew that it was the universe. I knew that it was God, really God. I'm sorry, it was God. God worked his magic through the universe, and I got what I wanted. The day that I went to go get my car, I literally got turned down at 4 different car lots, and I got offered cars that I did not want. And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, girl, you better take what you can get. And the thing is, I wasn't depositing all of my money. Me being a dancer, I have to prove my income through my bank statements, and I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't depositing 100% of my money. I was only depositing about 40% of my money, so it was hard for me to prove my income. So I went to all these car lots. I went to CarMax, and they told me that they could give me a Nissan Altima, and I was like, I'm good. Let me call my Lyft driver. I'm leaving. I'm on to the next lot. And they were like, you know, they didn't really pressure me. But then when I went to the next lot, which was AutoNation, they looked at me and they talked to me like I was, like, they were like, look, pretty much like, you can get a Ford Fiesta. And I was like, I'm not taking no Ford Fiesta. And the fact that y'all are insulting me by offering me this Ford Fiesta is like I'm leaving. So I was trying to leave, and they tried their hardest to convince me that that was all I could be able to get, that I could not get that nobody was gonna give me a BMW. And I was like, you know what, I'm leaving. And they're like, you gotta crawl before you walk, and they're just telling me all this stuff that I was not trying to hear. And I kept my cool because I was like, you know what, somebody's gonna tell me yes to the car that I actually really want. And I left there, went to another lot. They told me no as soon as I got there. I was like, okay. So I was in my Lyft, headed to another lot, and I called them on the way, and they told me no. So that's when I was like, let me call this car lot that is over by my dad's house. So I ended up calling them. They told me that they had the car that I wanted. I was like, cool. So, and I went up there. So when I went up there, when I tell you, the process was literally so smooth and easy. I was there for about 45 minutes tops. And I spent that at the other lots, like, for them running my application, for them running my credit, for them telling me no. You know, I would spend a minimum of 45 minutes over there. But at this lot, I spent 45 minutes signing everything, test driving my car. You know, it was literally so easy, and I could not do anything but thank God, because I knew that that was literally God at work. God will make a way for the universe to just move everything out of the way for you to get what you're asking for. You just gotta believe that you deserve it, ask for it, for one, ask for it, believe that you deserve it, and have faith that it's on the way. And that's literally all I did. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the car, and then I'm gonna show you guys my old car. as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.